Off we go. All right, let's start with the legs. Feet a little what distance apart. We're going to give ourselves a hug, rather, and bend the knees. It's almost like we're coming into a Balasana squat. So we're stretching the back of the body, the shoulder blades coming apart, and then press into the feet to come up, and let's come into a goddess squat here. So nice, strong in the arms, fists, elbows to the back wall, shoulders back and down, nice big bend in the knees. From here, come to the tallest point you can come to, straighten the legs, arms overhead, and let's just tick-tock the hips, side to side. So we'll do that a couple of times, giving ourselves a big hug, bending the knees, a little bit of a sway in the upper body, just trying to find any nice stretch in the back of the body, whilst warming up those leg muscles. Next, in our goddess squat, let's think about tucking the bottom under slightly, an inner thigh stretch, and right away we're broad, wide open across the collarbone, shoulders back and down. A little bit of a squeeze between the shoulder blades, but then let's waken up your core muscles. The bottom's tucked. Let's find that connection between the pelvis, the pubic bone and the ribs, and squeezing in here, ribs together, but chest wide open. Then steeple top, big long line, a nice stretch into the fingertips and sway the hips. Last time. Take a big squat, slow squats, a bit of a hug, a little bit of a circling, just stretching out the back into a wide open position, bottom tucked. Zip up your abs, this time spread the fingers, shoulders back and down, and then into the tallest line you can make. And we'll just let the hips sway side to side. From here, hands on the hips, let's just concentrate on the hips and take the pelvis in a big circle with the legs straight. So as we go to the back, hamstrings get a stretch, here inner thigh stretch, here the hip flexors, and then we'll change direction. Okay, so going back the other way, all the way around, last time, and then we'll move on to the shoulders. So for this, we'll hold the shoulders and we'll alternate taking those elbows forwards, up, back, and down. So let's take your left elbow forwards, up, simultaneously, the other arm kind of half a circle, half a rotation behind, so circling back. See if you can feel the distance between one elbow and the other. So we're not crunching in, feeling length, nice long neck. So we're using the fingers to peel the shoulder back each time, just giving ourselves an opportunity to counter that rounding that we can get in the shoulders. Let's let the head roll to wherever it wants to go. If you feel your shoulders are staying nicely rotated outwards, externally rotated, we can take that into a straight arm movement, a stretching into those fingertips, a nice deep breaths. You feel that between your shoulder blades, stretching right into the fingertips. Just make sure your bottom's not sticking out. You could end up slightly overextending your spine here. So keeping your ribs over your pelvis. If this is all going okay, you can take your feet a little bit closer together and maybe make that movement a little bit faster. Keep that nice big long line from the middle of one fingertip across the body to the other. Ooh, okay, then with bent knees, shrugging out the shoulders. Lovely. Back to the legs, and we'll add on the arms afterwards. Let's take the legs into that wide position again. Let's turn the right toes to the right and then take a lunge. And then back to the starting point. Left toes to the left and lunge. So from a time side to side, you take it as low as feels good. And then we'll start to take a movement into the arms. So as with the next time we all come to the right, I'm mirroring you, let's take those cactus arms and then turn to face that bent knee. Come back to the front, straighten up, and we'll go to the other side. Left toes left, bend, cactus arms, and turn to face the knee. So we're adding on our rotation of the spine. See that a couple of times. Right toe bend, twist, reset, toe, knee, cactus arms, twist. Next time we all come to the right, let's add on. So we have the bend in the knee, cactus arms, we've turned to face. Now see if that back heel can lightly lift, and we dial the front hip down. So now we're stretching the hip flexors. Reset the foot, and we'll take it to the other side. The knee bends, cactus arms, and then we're lifting the back heel so that this front hip now dials down. Hip flexor stretch. Let's try that a couple of times. Toes, knee, cactus twist, and the back heel. So you'll be able to lunge a little bit lower possibly to get a nice stretch into the hips, and then we reset. So, chest open wide, bottom slightly tucked. That lift. There's a little bit of a balance challenge here. If this is going well, you can take the arms into a straight line, capital T arms. So we take our lunge, we turn, we lift the back heel, maybe lunge a little bit further, stretch. So try to think about it in stages, it makes it a lot easier to balance. And also we control the movement. We're owning every little bit of the movement, so we've got time to engage all the muscles necessary to keep our balance. If you're managing to straighten your arms, as you come into this twist, see if your back hand can reach the back leg, and we take a diagonal twist, stretch from fingertips to fingertips before resetting. This is a good way of stretching the fascia. We're going into a twist and stretching fingertip to fingertip. If we think about the fascia as being a bed sheet and it's for much of the time crumpled in lots of places, we're stretching all four corners if it were a bed sheet. Let's have one more around each side, or even yourself out if you're going at a slightly different pace, and that's fine. Let me stretch. My last time, over to the left. And reach. Wonderful. Come center. Toe and heel the feet in, and let's shake out the legs. So now we've prepared the spine for a twist. We'll take the standing saw. So we're back to a wide-legged position, toes slightly turned out. So Pilates saw, the back of the hand running on the outside of the leg, and it's with a quick pulse out breath, and option to lift the top arm. So it's a pulse, breathe in to the other side, and reach, inhale. So we can think about that out breath as if a kind of forced out breath where we're putting in those abdominal muscles. A forced breath is like we're blowing out of a straw. If you want to use pursed lips, that can help to energize the breath and recruit those core muscles to pull the corset in around your waist. Doing well. After this one, we'll set each side. There was a nice reset at the top. This is the last set. Wonderful. Let's come into a wide leg fold. So chin to chest, you can soften the knees here. If the hands find the floor, great. Otherwise, you can hold opposite elbow and just take a moment to come into a forward fold. From here, you can bend the knees and straighten the legs. Bend and straighten. A couple of times. Just working into the backs of the legs, stretching the glutes. But also getting all those benefits of inversion, all the blood rushing to your head. Wonderful. Let's roll up through the spine. And at the top, roll the shoulders back and down. Okay, so that was wide legs. Now let's take the legs together. So we're thinking about toning those inner thighs. We'll take a nice tall, long position with the hands at a steeple top together. Let's bend the knees with the weight into the heels. Try to think about a long zigzag line, long spine, weights into the heels, so the glutes, the hamstrings working. And then we open the arms out wide and think about airplane arms. So the shoulders, instead of rounding forwards, open back and down. And if you have your balance here, you feel secure, we can come into drinking bird. So the heels might lift up. Take a moment. Maybe take one heel up at a time. Do that from the side. So with our airplane arms, maybe one heel comes up, keep everything zipped in the core. Maybe both heels lift, but those shoulders, keep peeling them back, keep pulling in your core muscles, drinking bird. Last time, just fire up those quads. Peel the shoulders back. And then slowly come up. Let's shake out the legs. Brilliant. We're going to come into the beginnings of the sun salutation, to come into a lunge. So if you stand forwards, let's take a deep breath in and stretch the arms overhead. As you breathe out, press the air down. Let's fold all the way down to the ankles, drop the head and pause for a moment in your ragdoll fold. You can hold your ankles or wherever the hands fall and just give yourself a moment here. Halfway lift, we flatten the back and lengthen the neck, so no crease at the back of the neck. We take a high lunge with the right leg stepping back. So step the right foot back. See if you can keep the back heel lifted, and let's walk our hands up that front leg. All here. So if the back heel needs to come down, it'll just be tight on the calf muscle. I'm going to make it slightly easier to balance. Let's lift the arms overhead. Take a deep breath in here. Come to cactus arms. Bit of a theme here for today. We're going to then take the body weight forwards, either to the front thigh, around the knee, and then come back up to cactus arms. Or we're tapping all the way down to the floor. The lifting up, and then strong arms, shoulders back and down. So find whichever level. We're testing the balance here. We're loading on to the leg muscles. Every time we come up to standing, we want to try to straighten or re-straighten that back leg so that we get that stretch into the hip flexors. Aim for maybe 6 rounds on this side. So either hands to the knee. Maybe we just come to here, leaning forwards, opening. Last time. And then let's step to the front. So hands either on your knee or on the floor to take the back foot to the front. Let's take a deep breath in, standing tall, stretching into those fingertips. And breathe out, Anjali Mudra, hands to heart center. Same, but leading with the left leg, stepping back. Deep breath in, reaching overhead, stretch to the ceiling, and breathe out and fold. We'll pause and meet in a ragdoll fold. Come to that halfway lift position where we lengthen the spine pretty much parallel to the floor. And then we'll step your left foot back and find that high lunge position. So we'll walk the hands up the front leg until we come upright. Let's straighten that back leg, tuck the bottom under. We're working on hip flexor stretch on this side. Lift the arms overhead for an extra stretch. And then creating fist pump into your cactus arms. So the same balance might be a little bit different on this side. So maybe we start by just tapping onto the knee, opening to cactus. Maybe we come all the way down to the floor. Tap, reach, fists, and cactus, shoulders back and down. So whichever version, however deeply you go into this, let's just find a slow control to the movement, going at your own pace. So I say roughly 6, doesn't matter, it's better to just move mindfully through. Just Keep all your attention inside your body, maybe on the breath. We can breathe in as we lift, breathe out, fists, strong arms. Bottom tucking, try to keep that hip flexor stretch in the upright position. Reaching into the fingertips, bottoms tucked, cactus. One more and then we complete this round. We tap down, strong through your core, strong arms. Well done. Fingertips to the floor or the knee and lightly step to the front. Let's take a deep breath in, stretching overhead. Fingers meet and return. Wonderful. So now let's take that balance a little bit further. Let's step the right foot forwards and keep the left heel lifted at the back. Let's interlace the fingers and we find this straight line, long line through the body into the fingertips. As we lean forwards, the weight comes out of the back toe. Maybe we can lift the back toe and then place back down. So we'll have maybe 6 goes on this side, no rushing, no flinging. More important to just feel that transference of weight. As the weight comes into the front foot, we'll zip up the core. We stretch from the lifted toes into the fingers overhead, and we might take it a little bit lower. So finding what level of balance your balancing stick is ready to go today. Now we're working the arms and the heart by keeping the arms above the level of the heart. So there's a lot going on here. We'll take a stretch into the back of the leg as we lift, come deeper into the balance. Get your level, you know, if nothing else, please don't be frustrated if your balance isn't so good in this one. You know, you have to concentrate so hard that it means that we're almost switching off stresses outside the body. We're just concentrating on the body, like really focusing and finding something that's not moving. Last time on this side, zip everything in. It'll help if you engage your pelvic floor, navel back to the spine, and then stretching from toes to fingertips. We'll have one last go on this side. Big stretch, two-way stretch. Lightly coming down, and then let's shrug out the arms and the legs. Well done. Over to the other side. So, this time, right toes back, or the other leg if you were on the same. Let's keep the leg straight. See if you can have the other thumb on top. Feels strange then when you put the index fingers together, but it's good for your brain. Now, initially, let's just feel that transference of weight into the front foot. No launching and hurling, just a gentle movement, a tipping, just finding that tipping point where then we can stretch from the fingertips overhead to the toes. And then it's that seesaw action, front and back, moving slowly with control. Try to keep everything zipped in. So we think about the pelvic floor, contracting and lifting. At the same time, the TBA is the corset muscle around your waist, pulling in to give you that support. But if we do get to the point where the back toes are lifting, let's make sure we then re-zip up the core and really point the toes. So if we engage in that whole chain of muscles from the index fingers overhead right to the toes at the back, we have a much better level of stability. And you'll find, it's like in the plank, you end up using so many muscles in the body, you're probably getting a little bit warmer. Let's make this the last time on this side. Look at something that's not moving, if that helps with your balance. And then let's gently come out. Well done. Shrug out the arms, a little soft bend in the knees, and swing it out. Amazing. We're going to come down to the mat and I'll lower the camera. So let's take a Pilates roll down, chin to chest, rolling down through the spine. And we can meet on the floor. Brilliant. So we'll start on all fours. Let's take a round of cat-cow just because it's really nice to ease out the spine. Knees ankles at distance apart. And go ahead and breathe in and look up, sticking the bottom out. And breathing out, chin to chest, round the back, lift your navel. One more round, breathing in to look up. And breathing out round in the back. Let's mimic that same action, but a little bit more energetically now. Let's lift the left leg up to the knee to nose, and then extend the leg behind you. So let's make sure you've got a little bit of space. So it's like a modified pigeon. Then tuck the toes, glide the knee back in towards the nose, and then slide the leg back. Front on, but maybe if you're on a mat, going lengthways, knee to nose, gliding and stretching back. See if you can breathe out as you take the knee to the nose. Breathe in and lengthen. One more time on this side, and then we'll take that movement to the other side. There we go. Wonderful. So returning to all fours, the other leg, knee comes up to the nose, and then we extend and sit back towards the heel. Don't worry if you don't come back as far. You can tuck the toes and glide in and extend. At your pace. And feel free to do one more round or take an extended child pose. After an extended child pose or your next round, let's all meet on our bellies. Let's move on to the locust. So from our bellies, let's first of all clasp the hands behind the back. Draw the hands down to the heels, open the chest, forehead to the floor. Now, tuck your bottom under, pubic bone pressing into the mat. Lift the shoulders away from the floor and float the head, the shoulders off the floor. If that's going well, float the tops of the feet off the floor, maybe even the knees. But think about stretching forwards and backwards. Heels of the hands coming together, clasped hands working their way down to the heels, crown of the head forwards, stretch two ways, and then float back down to the mat. Take a recovery breath, then reach up the bottom, engage your core, and then float up the heel length. The toes reaching the wall at the back, top of the head reaching the wall in front. Some energy between the shoulder blades. Some energy into your core muscles, and then float back down. Now we can take that into a Cobra position, hands under the shoulders. So shoulders back and down, pubic bone into the floor, and we float up. Again, long line from the crown of the head to the toes. If you can, float the hands up to the fronts of the shoulders. Replace, lower the head. 3 more. Point the toes, engage the core, floating up. Option to lift the hands. Float the hands back down and rest. Recovery breath. Retilt the pelvis. Engage your core. Feel that length. So we're not going far from the floor. Should be no strain in the lower back. We're thinking length, more important than height. We lift, peeling the shoulders back, stretch, and release down. Last one for luck. Let's stretch into the toes, lengthen into the crown of the head, peel the shoulders back. You're doing well. This is the last one. Stretch. And then go straight into your back and hug the knees into the chest. Really well done. Little rock on the spine here. Wonderful. Okay, let's come to tabletop. Knees over the hips, or if you're arching the back, draw the knees a little bit closer in. We're going to start with marching feet, so arms by the side of the body. Core engaged, zip everything in and out, and then let's tap the right toes towards the floor or on the floor, and then return. And we'll alternate legs. So it should feel a challenge to keep your core engaged and keep the spine's curves exactly the same. So neutral spine that we're often talking about, probably space for a pencil to slide into that gap in the lower back. If you're comfortable with the legs, we can extend the arms overhead, and then we lift the opposite arm overhead, and then we'll return. Opposite arm and leg moving, nothing else moves because of the spine, stay the same. Further challenge the core muscles if we add on the arms. Chin tucked into the chest. So the point or the end, there's no end point of touching the floor overhead. Often if we do touch the floor overhead, we've actually collapsed in the shoulders. So better to contain the movement, smaller movement. So as we draw away from the center point there, we're challenging the core to keep that engagement. And tuning in enough that if you feel you're arching the back, we reset, hug the knees into the chest and start again when you're ready. Similarly, if you're not actually feeling your core shaking, engaging, take your knees further away from you, and we can make this a little bit more of a challenge. Chin still tucked, so there's no crease at the back of the neck. Oh, just adjusting my legs that tiny amount. Oh, I'm working hard. Last 2 sets. It's good to know how many you've got left, and then you can measure the energy usage. Challenge yourself. To finish off, even yourself off left and right, and then let's hug the knees into the chest. Little rock on the spine, you can lift the head up to the knees and have a little sway. Let's take the figure 4 stretch. So right ankle to left knee, threading through and drawing in towards the chest. I like to use my elbow to further open the knee to the side. Let's flex this front foot, the top foot, to the right, if you're the same as me. And gently rock until you feel that sweet spot in your target hip. Again, chin tucked into the chest. We're rocking gently or holding when if you find just the perfect spot for a stretch. And then you're breathing in and out of the nose, using the exhalation to try and find some softening, release in the hip. So as we breathe, we may find that that edge softens. We may need to rock a little bit more to the side to deepen the stretch. So keep chasing the stretch, using the breath to find some softening. And maybe now that you've come to nearly 30 minutes of continuous work, we can then think about the breath. And maybe you could breathe in, thinking every breath I take, exhale, I'm getting stronger and healthier. Let's try 2 more of those on this side. Breathing in, every breath I take, I'm getting stronger and healthier. 1 more, breathing in, deep breath in, every breath I take, I'm getting stronger and healthier. Let's slowly release the leg, take it across to the other side, left ankle to right thigh, drawing the hands through to thread and draw the thigh in, adding an inner thigh stretch, external rotation of the thigh with the elbow. Let's flex the top foot and take a moment to rock and find where the sweet spot is in our target hip. And then we'll pause. Chin's tucked into the chest. Shoulders back and down. Jaw soft. And then let's find that softening. So be prepared to go a little bit deeper as the edge softens. Inhale, every breath I take, Exhale, I am getting stronger and healthier. 2 more. Breathing in. Every breath I take, I am getting stronger and healthier. Last time. Every breath I take, I am getting stronger and healthier. Gently release the legs. Let's take the right leg up to the ceiling. Gently pull in. Let's point the toes. Flex. And let's circle once in each direction. And then the other leg. Left leg. Stretch. Little hamstring stretch. Point the toes. Flex. And circle. And the other way. With both knees into the chest, we can rock forwards and backwards on the spine till we come up to sitting. Let's take a deep breath in together. Remember, we can keep your mantra going for the rest of the day. A nice deep breath in. Nice big stretch. And breathe out. Anjali Mudra, thumbs to the heart center. And namaste. Really well done.